one of the questions that, like, if these drivers are, you say home most nights and weekends or whatever, what does that, what does that entail for a driver? How often do they sleep in the truck, or are
Yeah.
they away?
So if they're on a strictly dedicated account, most of those guys are home every night. Um,
Mhm.
and that's, ideal. Some guys want to do that. Some guys don't. And that's why I say we're, talking with drivers even this morning to fill directly into your truck. And it really depends on the driver that we hire because we've got the revenue to support both.
Okay.
But no matter what they come in, they're home every single weekend. And that's something it's kind of become industry leaning. It's not a standard now, but guys don't want to be gone 2, 3, 4 weeks anymore. It just doesn't work for them. And most guys are leaning now towards trying to get home every night. So we say that home, occasionally during the week, even our over the road guys, home occasionally during the week, but home every weekend, barring that the truck shuts down and they're 800 miles away or something that's unforeseen. Now we'll have guys sometimes say, "Hey, my wife's going to ride with me, and we're going to go run for a few weeks at a time," and they want to go run a few weeks and see the country a little bit. But for the vast majority, it's, hey, if I can get through the house a time, maybe 2 times during the week, home every weekend, that's more than enough. Um, but we do have probably 30% of the fleet that's home every night.
Okay. I know one of the most difficult things are retaining drivers, and I know being home on the weekend is probably a big one. What other incentives and benefits do we provide for drivers?
That's the number one. They can go anywhere right now and drive a nice truck if they want to. The big super carriers that require you to be out 2 and 3 weeks at a time, they'll get you in a truck that's 2 years old or less. They can go anywhere they want and do that. And pay's gone up the past couple of years, so pay is almost not as important anymore. Even 401k, we offered 401k for 2 years, and I think we had an 18% adoption rate. Drivers don't care about it. They're like, spend my money for something else. If you're going to put money into me, and we offer 50% pay for their health insurance. We pay them $30 or $35, I think, any night that they sleep in the truck as a per diem. It's tax free to them, so they love that. If they have to be out, industry standard on that's anywhere from $30 to $50. We pay them if something happens and they miss a load. We'll pay them layover. It's the little things that add up because they want to feel like you care and you're not just trying to push puzzle pieces around. And that starts from me and goes straight into my director of operations, and both of us trickle straight down into dispatch and customer service. So it's a top down and always has been an approach. I've had 3 drivers in my office this morning come by just wanting to say hello. Open door policy. Every one of them have my cell phone number. And it's just, I think, the popular thing out there is, come be part of our team. Don't just be just a number, be part of the family. It's really easy to advertise that. It's a whole different ballgame to actually do it. And we try to do it to the best of our ability. And I think those things go further than, and, obviously they want to make as much money as they can, but pretty much all of them are making good money if they want to run right now. So that's not it. It's where they know that their time and their home time with their family is important. And that's the big thing. And so by us having the good, consistent rate that pays really well, they can run your truck less miles. They can run themselves less miles during the week and still have a great check at the end of the week because we're getting better, pay per mile than average.
Okay. And then as far as your drivers that you brought on board, how long do they, usually last, would you say? I know they've probably been rocking with you for such a long time because you're such an awesome individual. But,
Well, so, I'll say this. Most drivers that leave our company, we have to terminate them for a safety reason. It is not typical that they're leaving because they don't like it here.
Okay.
We've got plenty of drivers that have been here 6, 7, 8 years. But if something happens and a guy has a massive safety issue that, insurance dictates a lot of it for us, but we also have our own internal policies that if you do something that crosses some of these boundaries, especially if we're already having issues and it's, something that is recurring, you're in law enforcement. When there's a a bad habit that's been formed, and then you have something that causes a problem on a safety aspect, the next thing's an accident. And if we see all the signs producing, we want to prevent an accident. So we will typically release those people, based off our guidelines, and try to prevent that accident from happening as many times as we can. So I would say, most companies have 100% turnover these days every year. It's insane. I don't know how it happens. Statistically speaking, that doesn't mean every driver leaves. It just means if they have 100 trucks, they hired 100 drivers that year. Maybe the same 25 trucks, the same guys kept leaving every few months. But, I think our turnover, if you exclude people that we terminate, I think our turnover is like 12, 13%. So it's pretty solid. If you include terminations, it's only like 36%. So not a large turnover once they get here. But trucking the past 3 years, and it's something that we talk about frequently on the safety side with my director of safety, when we're looking at qualifying a guy that's going to come on board. Back in the day, it was a red flag if someone has more than one job per year. Really a red flag if they have more than 2 jobs per year in the past 3 years. But the pandemic and the driver raises created just musical chairs of drivers. So, we try to, on a case-by-case basis, judge, does that mean this guy just likes to job hop and it's a problem? Or, is he just following a paycheck because rates were raising every week? And, is it loyalty, or is it he was just trying to find the next best paycheck? Because the last thing, if we can prevent from a hiring side somebody that's going to come in and quit in 3 months, just strictly because they want to go to the, grass is greener on the other side of the road, we try to prevent that. It's going to happen sometimes. It's just part of it. We try to, look into everything that we can. Drivers go through it to get hired. It's probably like getting in law enforcement, right? They've got to pass all these things, background checks and driving history and drug tests and you name it to get on board. Training, years of experience, minimums we have. So they kind of go through the ringer. So it gives us a kind of a decent look, and then we'll do a phone, call and try to judge character. But it's really hard to know, from a character standpoint, if a driver's going to be really good until you get him on the road for a few weeks. So
yeah, I mean, I get it. Like you said, working in law enforcement, we have guys that go through a whole maybe 6 to 8 month background, and then they go through the whole academy, which is another 6 months, and then first week on the job, they're already ready to quit. So you spent a year and a half in the process, 2 years in the process, and when things get going, and they leave for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes just finances, or the money is good somewhere else. Maybe their environment is a lot different than they anticipated. So you never know, like you said, until you put them up to the test.
That's right. But, I'll say too, a common thing, with guys here is obviously if they come on board and they're used to being an over the road driver, they sign up, say, yes, I want to be a regional over the road driver. They'll, have a daily night, kind of gig job pop up out of nowhere. And, sometimes they'll go take it, even if we're able to offer them something that would be comparable. It's, sometimes that'll pop up, but it depends. It depends on what it is. I think, if it's a different type of industry, they may jump just to try to do something different. We had one of our long-term drivers leave the other week because he was going to get to haul cattle, and it's one of his dreams to haul cattle, livestock again. And he's like, I'll probably go there 6 months and come back, but I just want to go experience this because I grew up on a farm. And it's like, all right, man, go for it. The door's always open.
More power to you.
Door's always open. So.